Hey there, we're out in the garden this beautiful day talking about the forbidden fruit of temptation and what you can do when all of those cakes, desserts, ice creams, cupcakes are just calling your name and pulling at your heartstrings. I'm Joe with Gospel Grub and Good Health, where we get you fit through faith, food, and fasting. Let's go. All right, so on the faith side of things, I love this verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. It's verse 13, and it starts off like this. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. What does that mean? That means that all of the temptations I face, they're not new. Everybody else faces the same temptations. Maybe the specifics and the details might be different, but in principle, the same temptations that I face are all the temptations that everybody out there faces as well. That tells me two things. One, I can learn from past bad examples. In the context of this book here, Paul talks about the Israelites and how they were in the wilderness, and a lot of them gave in to gross immorality and temptations that came their way. And he's telling us, be careful. Be careful, learn from these past bad examples. And then number two, that tells me I can learn and be encouraged by good examples. People that face the same exact temptations that I've faced and are able to push through and get through and not give in. So learn from past good examples and bad examples alike. The second part of this verse, Paul talks about God's faithfulness in our temptation. He says, but God is faithful. I love that. God is faithful. And he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape. So that tells me right out the gate that every temptation I experience, God's governing hand is over it, keeping it within limits where I can withstand it. So every temptation that comes our way, you got this. I got this. We can handle it. The second thing is he always provides a way of escape. That can be a physical escape where a door is right there and we need to flee that tempting situation. Or maybe it's in our headspace where, we're thinking thoughts that are leading to tempting thoughts. If we can just stop our thinking and think on good things the Bible tells us to do and move our thoughts to virtuous thinking and escape in our minds that tempting situation. Either way, the escape is always there. So take it. Now I love how Paul finishes this verse. He says that you may be able to endure it. So everything he just told us, that our temptations are common to everybody. Learn from past examples, good and bad. Hey, and God is faithful, always keeping it within certain limits so that I can withstand it, you can withstand it. And then lastly, there's always a way of escape. And all this is formulated so that you and I can endure our temptations and come out on the other side victorious. So now for the fit side of things, how can we apply these truths to our health? Well, one, the temptations that we face are common. They're common to everybody. I remember when my wife was first telling me about carnivore, keto, and intermittent fasting, I was like, you know what? I like food too much. I love my carbs too much, as if my temptation was more powerful and different from anybody else's. So it took a little bit of humility for me to realize I'm no different than anybody else. Two, our temptations also tell us, as far as them being common to everybody, that we can learn from bad examples. We can look at the statistics that tell us where a lifestyle of unhealthy habits leads us to 1 in 2 being obese, 1 in 11 having type 2 diabetes, so on and so forth. And then the second thing is we can form a support group with good examples, people who have been there, done there, got the t-shirt, who have faced these temptations and have come through victorious and seen the changes that they wanted to see. So the next thing I want you to take away from this is that the temptations we face are always within our ability to resist and to withstand. And so, maybe that comes in the form of planning. Maybe you're going to a party later where there's going to be some great desserts. Plan ahead. Have an accountability partner with you, your spouse. My wife is a great accountability partner who keeps me in check when it comes to eating those desserts. If we're going to allow some sort of treats, then we stay within that limit by helping each other, and keeping each other accountable. Maybe it comes in the form of bringing your own snacks along that fall within your goal and within your plan. So maybe you're going to the movie theater and there's going to be Raisinets and popcorns, but you bring along some beef jerky. That's planning ahead, and that's understanding that the temptations you're going to face, I got this. I can withstand them. All right, so the final takeaway, this is an important one. Take the escape hatch. Get the heck out of your temptation. So I see this coming in three ways. One, a physical escape. If you have to physically remove yourself from a tempting situation, do it. So if you're at a party and you have to sit as far as possible away from the dessert table, do it. Get yourself out of the house. If you have all this junk food in your pantry and in your fridge that's just calling your name, go be active. Go take a walk. Take your spouse out and go in the woods or something and just, enjoy nature if you have to. But get the heck out of there. Two, a mental checkout, right? So our thoughts. If you're at a party, make it about the people. Make it about conversing, fellowshipping, catching up with old friends and family you haven't seen for a while, meeting new people. Make it about that instead of about the food. If you're at home, anything to distract your mind. My son just bought a punching bag. What a great escape, when you're hungry and all you see is pizza and desserts. Go down to the punching bag and just start punching away. You talk about a great escape. And then lastly, you can escape using substitutes, right? So we love cake. My favorite cake is yellow cake with chocolate frosting. You put that in front of me, that's gonna be a huge temptation. But I can escape that temptation and run towards a substitute. My wife found an amazing pumpkin cheesecake muffin recipe that's only like 3 carbs per muffin. She makes a couple batches, every so often, puts them in the freezer. And when I'm feeling tempted to something, like cakes and junk food, I head right to the freezer, grab one of those pumpkin cheesecake muffins, heat it up, add a little bit of, heavy whipping cream whipped up, and I have that as my dessert. And that's my escape. That is enough to get me out of that tempting situation. So in all of your temptations, just know that you are not alone and that you got this, and get the heck out of there. Right? I'm Joe with Gospel Grub and Good Health, getting you fit through faith, food, and fasting. Like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm out.